Hello, cultist! DEVOUR released its fourth map, The Town, this week. Stick around to see how gameplay for this map is different. The town brings us to this sleepy old mining town and presents us with some history on Azazel and the cult attempting to raise him. Like the previous DEVOUR maps, this map has 25 hidden horseshoes that players should collect to receive this robe. If you're having problems finding all 25, check out my guide showing all 25 hidden horseshoes here. This map consists of several small buildings on a dusty ghost town road with a peculiar church up on the hill overlooking the town. Several locations include hiding spots for players to dart into when the need arises. Players will also notice pentagrams on the floor of many of the buildings with these lockboxes nearby. To get things started, players must enter the church. This is where players will encounter Sam for the first time. Once the church is open, keys will appear around the map. These keys are used to open lockboxes rather than doors. Each lockbox contains a book which must be placed inside the corresponding pentagram, which should be nearby. Players will notice that each book has a symbol on its cover that corresponds to these symbols outside of the buildings. Using matches which can be found in various spawn locations, players must light the pentagram before placing the book inside. Once the book is placed, the pentagram will glow brightly before burning out and darkening to ash on the ground. The symbol on the front of the book will glow when the process has been completed. Players must then take these books up to the church and burn them on the pyre in the center of the room. The pyre must be lit with a gas can before each book is burned. Each time a book is burned, Sam becomes more and more angry and will summon more and more of his minions to hunt you down. This may feel very similar to other DEVOUR maps, but there are a few things that are different about this map. First, the minions, or the ghosts, that chase you down are unlike any other we have seen before. This is because they are able to fly and travel through solid objects. In other words, they can come at you from literally anywhere. This makes them much more difficult than previous maps. Keeping your flashlight charged will become a much more essential part of the game. Next, Sam comes equipped with a gun. In true cowboy fashion, if you get in his way, he will not hesitate to shoot you. In my experience, this can be dodged to some extent, but if you're hit, it can knock you or it can lower your health just enough that simply touching a ghost will cause you to be knocked immediately. This does not mean that he does not anger or chase or grab players, as he still does all of that as well. Also, when players are knocked, you are not just downed and waiting for a teammate to find you. Much like how players had to find an exit from the spider tunnels in the inn, players are sent to a fiery pit of Purgatory, where they must combat more of the ghosts before returning to the map. Players must burn these ghosts with their UV light before they will be returned to gameplay. The game will track how many ghosts are in your Purgatory as well. It's also helpful to know that as the game progresses, there will be more and more of these ghosts in your Purgatory. And finally, one of the more complicated and confusing parts of this map is that not all of the pentagrams are active at the same time. Once the church is opened, pentagrams will become illuminated if they can be lit. Once a pentagram has been used, it burns out and leaves behind ashy markings on the ground. Much like the spiders in the inn, the ghosts can pick up cursed books and move them around. And it appears they are drawn more to the books than they are the players, just as the spiders were to the eggs in the inn. One final tip that players may find helpful is that developers have made an effort to use light to assist players. When a building has an active pentagram inside, the lights of that building will be on. This should help players locate quickly the areas where books must be cursed inside of pentagrams. At the start of the game, the map is quite dark. As the game progresses, it becomes brighter. The dust storm makes it easier to see ghosts and surrounding areas. But more interesting is that the church becomes brighter as more and more cursed books are burned. With each book that is burned, one of the stained glass windows will illuminate until all 10 windows are lit. What strategies have you used to win games on the town? Let me know in the comments below. I personally found that opening all the lockboxes and placing the books in their pentagrams prior to cursing any books was the most successful strategy. Books that have not yet been cursed cannot be carried off by the ghost. So placing books near the pentagram in preparation will not result in them being carried off by Sam's minions. Teammates and I dropped useful items like medkits and batteries in the street so they could be easily found when needed. Gas for the book burning was gathered at the church before any books were burned. Matches were placed at each pentagram so we would not have to search for them. There is no reason to not light a pentagram that is active. It is probably most helpful to know that only 4 cursed books exist in the game at any time. So once players have burned a book, another pentagram will become active. In my games, I found it was most helpful to burn 4 books, followed by 2, and then the final 4 in quick succession at the end. Have you had the chance to play the town yet? Do you have tips for other players? Please share them in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and remember, gaming should be fun.